Hey Maxime, so excited to have you here. I know we have a lot of exciting announcements in store today, but just would love to use this time to kind of do a little Q&A between ourselves. Tell us a little bit more about Zesty. What do you do? Where are you based? And how did you even get started in the first place?
So what we do is we think about a completely new way to modernize the approach we have towards infrastructure. We live in a world where everything is dynamic. Markets change, economical aspects changing, everything is constantly changing. New customers, new features, new offerings. And with the cloud, we can actually leverage unlimited infrastructure and capacity. The only challenge with that our our infrastructure is the only thing that holds us back because it's static. And it's as static as your engineer made it during his last deployment. So we came to realize that why humans are responsible for configuring and modifying infrastructure, cloud infrastructure setups, rather than having a computer to do that. And in a world that everything is dynamic, this is definitely a challenge that we faced in our previous roles, from both technical aspects, where my CTO Alexei was responsible for the cloud infrastructure and he was the one changing configurations when things didn't work, and I used to be responsible for making sure that my end customers are happy with the bill that I'm submitting them for their usage of cloud resources. So in that reality, we came to understand that, well, things should be better and they can be better if there is a product in the world that helps. And due to lack of other options, we just decided to come and build one.
Awesome. And clearly, like you mentioned, the cloud has obvious benefits that have led to hyper growth and also a lot of interesting SaaS companies over the years. That being said, talk to us about the relationship between the promised benefits that brought by this hyperscalers in the cloud and also the infrastructure management challenges, as well as the skyrocketing costs / increased cloud waste.
So everybody's talking about cloud cost, cloud waste, but I would prefer to state it as cloud efficiency. Because at the end of the day, the definition of waste, it's something that you acknowledge and understand. If you go into the on-prem world, the utilization was low because you had to predict your stress tests, your spikes, your everything, because you knew that the next server, up until the time you'll get it, will have to pass a few months. So it was by design low efficient, at a low efficiency. When we move to the cloud, you don't have to wait for anything. Your next service is just a click away. But modifying and fine-tuning all that reality, because your billing is so granular, because you have so many options, because you have constantly new offerings, new regions, new capabilities, it's just humanly impossible to keep up. And as human by nature, you would not change things when they work. I doubt there's someone's job is to constantly modify cloud infrastructure. You do that once you need it, and you need it on one and two occasions. The first occasion is where you have CX problems, when your application is laggy, when your system is down, when your services are slow. You would go and give your application more bandwidth by increasing your cloud footprint. The second time, you would try to figure out what's happening with the cloud when you have your CFO or VP Finance knocking on your door saying, hey, we're way out of budget. You have to do something about it. But you don't do any of those 24/7. And that's the paradox that leads to cloud waste or cloud cost skyrocketing. It's just humanly impossible to do all that. So that's the reason we've seen tremendous adoption from the market for our solution. And even though if you would think about the aspect of running more efficiently would actually hurt cloud providers by cutting them bottom line, what we're able to see is that companies who are consuming cloud more efficiently, in a way, have more engineering resources, and those are used to release newer products faster, better products to market, and actually get more for the money they paid. So as time passes, we see that companies who are using sophisticated solutions have more engineering capabilities, because they don't have to do once a month, once a day, once a quarter repeatable tasks. Those are outsourced to a more accurate, more efficient algorithm.
And like you mentioned, this is, a hidden problem that's so big, and there's so many other players in the space. How do you differentiate at Zesty, and why would somebody pick you?
Well, what we're always saying is that you're only as good as your data, or your machine learning prediction algorithms is only as good as your data. And what makes Zesty unique is our ability to generate real-time data. We are able to show cloud efficiency in real time. So you see running money numbers and you see real running numbers. That enables us to build a lot of prediction models and be extremely accurate. And because we believe so much in our accuracy, in our algorithms, we are automating those recommendations that are given by other tools and that lead to notification fatigue. We're saying we don't want to give you more notifications. On the contrary, we're saying this is a task that once you enable this, you don't have to ever think about again.
For someone considering using Zesty, tell us a little bit more about the benefits, including the ones around a lot of those tools sell to finance audience. And while Zesty does have a finance value prop, you do target a lot of the DevOps and engineering audience. Just maybe crystallize this a little bit more for us, and how much efficiency / time and money are you saving, or are you taking the troubles away from your typical customer?
So the first thing we did is we simplified the whole exploration of how much value Zesty can add to you as a company. When we reach to DevOps, when we reach to engineers, it's really simple to show value. Like, you do 3 clicks and we are able to show you of how much efficiency we can add to your company without you doing something. Once you're in, we're able to show you your trends and your growth, and we're able to show you how often you have done something, and you clearly understand that, well, you didn't do that 24/7, and that's the financial impact of you're not doing that 24/7. Once those points connect, the end result is a number, and that's the number we're saying, hey, if you can click additional few buttons and sign a contract, you would never have to do this again. With that value prop, what we're selling to the DevOps, we're not only selling the financial value, but we're selling him that you don't have to do this ever again. We are taking responsibility for this repeatable task that you learn nothing about by doing that. It did not grow you from a professional standpoint. It was just something that required to keep track, predict, run math with your CFO and with your engineering teams, and you would never be as accurate as we do. So stop doing that. And that gets people excited because, well, yes, I know it's repeatable task. I've tried to automate it. The whole notion of DevOps and engineers is to automate repeatable activities. So this is a product that automates a whole cycle of activities that they were required to be manually performed. So you have to outsource that. And with that engagement, when the value prop is crystal clear and there is a bottom line number of how much value Zesty can add to your savings, with that promise, we're fastly moving to the procurement and saying, well, there is no risk. Because the risk is to maintain with the status quo. Don't do anything and just donate that money. Instead, you can actually take that money and route it back into your budget and add the extra spiff of having your engineers dealing with engineering activities rather than coordinating and figuring out financial requirements to be reflected in your cloud infrastructure. So it's like a win-win-win.
Totally. And, obviously Zesty is still a younger company, but you count some of the amazing logos, right? Amazing enterprises, cloud native companies as customers. You've seen tremendous growth. And obviously we've heard great, exceptional customer feedback. What would you say are some of the biggest drivers to that early success?
Simplicity. I believe that simplicity is the key. There is no black boxes. There is no voodoo magic. When you're selling to engineers, you need to explain that potentially you can reverse engineer and build it yourself, and making the product very accessible. It's really simple to use. It's really simple to integrate. Everything we do on behalf of our customers. So theoretically speaking, they are able to reverse engineer and do things like we do. The concept of making a decision is identical to everyone. So once you're able to convey that, well, we would never hurt your performance, we would never ever harm your stability, we would always prioritize that because that's the most important asset of the company. And we can also save you money. So that pyramid of needs is well met. And at that point, it's like, hey, I know what you do. I understand it. There is nothing hidden. I understand the value, I understand the simplicity. Maybe I should give it a try. And once you give it a try, you're like, there's no way I'm going back. Like, I don't want to do this. It works, it's great. It adds more time to my day-to-day. It saves me money. My CFO is happy, I'm happy. Cool.
And now that you've raised another round of financing, what do the next 4 to 6 quarters look like for Zesty? What are your top priorities? Product, marketing, team, and what can current and future customers look forward to when they think about Zesty's roadmap in the next 12 to 18 months?
So what we see is that the world is getting more and more into microservices and actually getting the lower granular aspect and making sure that everything is up and running all the time in a very efficient way. We believe that making containerized workloads or Kubernetes simpler, more efficient. We see that, we hear that, and we see that from all our existing customers and all the companies we're talking about who went through the modernization of application and the tech stack. Those already in the cloud and those are considering to move into the cloud. The rule of thumb is that if you go into the cloud and you're not containerized, just wait, do that, and then go. With that being said, containerized applications are still not efficient. They're still bounded by static infrastructure. So that's the next frontier. And from the go-to-market perspective, we just a couple of months ago, we just opened our first office in the Bay Area. That's our first footprint in the US soil. And our goal is actually to make the same success we had in Israel, to replicate it in the US, having talented go-to-market experts and professionals leading the Zesty way.
You've clearly generated quite a bit of interest, not only from a customer perspective, but also from the investment community, right? The VC community. Why did you choose to partner with us here at Sapphire?
So, first of all, it will always be people. People build brands, people build logos, but at the end of the day, it's all about the personal connection, the personal relationship. And what I found with Sapphire team, and specifically Jay and Casber, was that they're always available. There is a question, there is an answer to every question, there is an attention to every request, and there is true partnership. I believe that this is the type of relationships we have and we need when we're building a great, successful company. People with vision, with drive to execute, And there was no questions when Casber said, well, we want to join this rocket ship. And like, well, that's amazing. The feedback we got from the industry on Sapphire and on Casber specifically was through the roof. So it was a completely no-brainer for us.